Hi and welcome back to Free Drop. So much has happened in the last 24 hours that we thought it would be worthwhile to talk about it. So we're going to cover quite a bit of ground again this morning. We're going to talk about Tiger, the dramatic news from Dubai. We're going to pick up on the Dubai suspension. A lot of criticism from the players as to whether or not that was the appropriate thing to do. Talk about briefly the Phoenix Open and a little bit about the sort of weekend golf that we can all look forward to. If you enjoy our videos, it'd be really helpful and we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let us know what you think. It's always great to have some feedback. So with a little more ado, we'll get straight into it. Amazing news came out of Dubai this morning that Tiger had withdrawn from the Dubai Desert Classic. I think anybody that watched him playing yesterday, could clearly see something was quite wrong. There were times in his round where he looked to me, the old spy movies really, where he was walking east to west through Checkpoint Charlie, just waiting for that, single bullet to come firing across. So I wasn't really surprised that he withdrew. Interesting take from his management, saying it was back spasms. They didn't look massively convinced. I must admit, listening to the interviews, I was sort of a little bit dubious. You just wonder whether or not the amount of injuries he's had, the operations and those things, they've got to catch up, long flight out to Dubai, all of those sorts of things really. But I think my big fear for him now is that every time he's playing he's under such scrutiny. Clearly if he is able to play, if he can get those back issues sorted out, then he's going to have to get some competitive rounds under his belt. My real fear for Tiger, I think, going forward is he doesn't end up like a sorry figure like Muhammad Ali, just boxing on and ending up a shadow of his former self, people sort of forgetting what sort of, impact he's had on the game, probably the greatest player of a generation really, if not ever. And it'd be sort of dreadful to think that he was just, bumbling around the tour, picking up sort of, more injuries, playing poorly, and people forgetting what sort of player he really was. So let's hope that, he can get away, get a bit of rehab, take a long, look as to whether or not this is what he really wants to do. Personally, I think it'd be fantastic if he could get his fitness back and play again. But I mean, I think now, he's running the risk of becoming a bit of a sideshow. Every time he starts a competition, people will be just sort of wondering whether or not he can or he cannot finish it. Is it in his head? Who knows? There's been some talk this morning that it's psychological. Hard to say. As I say, I've already said that I think he just needs to get competitive rounds under his belt, irrelevant of necessarily scores and position in the field. I think he just needs to play. Let's hope he can get back to America, get some proper attention on his back, and then take a view going forward. But let's hope he doesn't end up a sorry state, as I say, the Muhammad Ali of golf really. So come on, Tiger, get a good look at it, and let's hopefully see you back. But if not, just call it a day, chap. Also in Dubai this morning, the weather was appalling, absolutely appalling. Sandstorms, making the play impossible. Trees came down on the course. There's been quite a lot of criticism from the players, Lee Westwood, Keimer, Weisberger. They've all sort of questioned whether or not the European Tour made the right decision to suspend. I think, you've got to look at it in the sort of round really. A, is that the conditions you want to be playing golf in? And B, is it safe? Safe both for the players. But I mean, there's an awful lot of people out on the course watching, and they're dangerous places in the best of times, golf courses. I guess what it does bring up to question is the draw, and that some of those players have played twice, in quite difficult conditions really, the late starters and the early starters this morning. And I guess the guys who haven't finished, particularly the guys that have played 3 or 4 holes, probably going to pitch up in the morning. The weather will be vastly improved. It's more than likely the greens will have been cut and rolled. And you've got to say, is this the most lopsided draw we've seen in the European Tour for many a long year, really? I think they probably were right to call it a day. I'm sure the players themselves, I can understand their argument, but you've got to think of the overall picture. It's an international golf tournament. Player safety, spectator safety, paramount really. So disappointing, but it does mean that we've got a packed schedule of golf from Dubai. I understand they're going to start 2T start with 3 balls, so there'll be a lot of golf tomorrow, finishing round 2 and getting round 3 underway. So there's a lot to look forward to. I suppose we've just got to keep an eye on the weather really. Meanwhile, over in Phoenix, the Waste management's well underway. Fantastic crowd participation as you'd expect on the 16th. I'm still not massively convinced it's the way forward. I haven't got a real problem with it, but you do wonder sometimes whether or not encouraging that level of crowd participation does sort of drift across into tournaments like the Ryder Cup, and then we sit here moaning about the fans getting over involved in the golf there. But again, watching it last night, some fantastic golf. Mickelson, an absolute exhibition really of around his short game, and nice to see Kuchar leading overnight. Matsuyama not very far behind him. It's an interesting one. They call it the greatest show on turf. As I say, it's great fan participation, but you really hope that we're not going to turn it into some sort of carnival style thing, and spoil the actual golf just for the entertainment value. But it was good fun watching it last night. I think the other thing that I want to talk about is the prospects for the weekend. I'm looking very much forward to playing. The weather in the UK has been pretty dreadful, really, so we haven't been on the course very much in the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've got Storm Doris blowing through at the moment. Courses are very wet. Certainly in the West Midlands, a number of the local courses have been closed yesterday and today. So fingers crossed we can get out. We're going to try and get some videos shot on the course. Whether or not we can do it tomorrow or not, I doubt, but we'll certainly be picking that up as the weather starts to improve. So I'll give you a sort of rundown on my performance of the weekend. As I said, yesterday's video, I've been looking at my short game. I'm certainly going to take some of that forward. I was thinking about it last night, and I can't wait really to get out to see whether or not that improves things for me. So there you are. That's the roundup for today. As I say, the massive news relating to Tiger. I'm sure that's going to resonate through the world of golf. Everybody's got an opinion. We've got an opinion. I've actually heard some quite sad things really. I think people criticising him for going over to Dubai and taking the £1.5 million appearance money. Well, he must have gone there believing that he was resilient and competitive. And if it is just back spasms, well, anybody can suffer from that. And I guess there's no point in him trying to go out and retrieve his tournament if he's physically not up to it. So I hope he doesn't cop for too much grief. And fingers crossed that yet again he can come back and be competitive again. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, enjoy your golf this weekend. As I said at the start, if you've enjoyed the video, it'd be fantastic if you'd subscribe. Let us know what you think, and we'll put some more content up over the weekend. Right, that's all from Free Drop for now. See you later.